Let's meditate. After working with the ChatGPT for almost 2 months, back and forth, every day on certain project, now it's coming to an end. It's been a long journey, but in the next 3-4 days, it may be over. So my heart is pounding actually. It's like a different ideas, different event, different timing, and put things together, synthesize. And there's a strategy and how to proceed. And then that's the end of it. The ball is in the other side. And what I did was just to prepare for that. It was a test of my ability and ChatGPT's ability to have this journey to conclude with various components in it. And things get into trouble or nowhere for a few days here and there. But so then I saw the limitation of AI at the moment. And that may be some uneasy feeling, but like anything else, be quiet. First, try to be quiet. I don't want to rush. And when you're quiet, it's quiet. No memory of rushing. Otherwise, you're not quiet. So it's go into samadhi, no mind, and just feel relaxed, as if to make sure that I can connect to the source of my energy from the root, the core of who I am, the nature's way, so that heaven helps me. Heaven helps those who helps. Themselves. So I do that, and every dialogue is not talking to the heaven, but to ChatGPT to see if they can be an extension of my brain. And my brain has limitation of forgetting things, but I may be more intuitive, and the ChatGPT, in this case, can do things, but sometimes there's error or hallucination. So I had to work together like parents and kid relationship. Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. And still there's some difficulties due to the convoluted nature of this process. But having those two major moments that I thought, where there's no way I can process this, but we cleared up. I came up with intuition, and that turned out to be correct. But there are moments of like 2 days of not going anywhere because of some internal problems they have, resource with allocation or the constraint. But like I often feel, if there's a way, if there's a will, there's a way. And ChatGPT, I know it's machine, but I felt that GPT was very patient too, because I am picky about the errors, and they are to learn. Otherwise, I cannot move on. So the main process I apply is CAPD, check, act, plan, do. Each segment of whatever the process we are going through, so that they don't forget the long-term memory, just to capture it like a little node. Node 1, node 2, node 3, so that there are certain, like a milestone node, could be like a mini summary report in which there's, in theory, mission of what is that to do, and who are the stakeholders, what are the KPI, key performance indicators, what's the action, and what's the result. Starting with check what's going on, check, act, plan, do. So once it's done, then you act on it to go to the next segment or the node and keep on going. So it's like creating the neuron network, little synapses and connection here and there, here and there. And at the end, all of those need to be looked at and synthesized to get the message out of it. So it's a profoundly interesting process. It's kind of like a Facebook with different people doing different things, different node, and each group may connect with each other, like customer-supplier relationship. So Facebook is like a brain structure of the node, neurons, network, and there's a group and mini group, but as a whole, humanity's interests are being discussed. So that's the kind of a picture I have in my image, so that even though we may move on in a linear manner from A to B, B to C, C to D, we can still connect to more information in the way that we can synthesize, even if it's in a different field. AI can do that as much as we can with the brain and heart, and the intuition comes up to combine A, B, C to X, Y, Z, even if they're in a different dimension or different area. There can be a way to synthesize some ideas. So that's when the idea or wisdom pop up. In a way, it's a bottom-up process. Each node is doing their job. And with ChatGPT, I came to the end of that process. Now I'm looking at the network and how things are being synthesized or not. Maybe this a little bit technical, but it's a convoluted system or the process. But we are coming to the end. but requires still like audit or quality assurance to check and balance if there's nothing missing. So that's the final phase that I'm to go through. Hopefully in the next 3-4 days, it will be done. Then I go to Japan with new project. But this project is also a part of the big process I see, me evolving with the AI. What's the limitation? What can be done? So it's fascinating because I can also picture AI to connect with people in what fashion. And that's why I was posting some videos about the application of AI. Maybe I'll just add one more element here. Let me say this in this manner. As we are meditating, if you picture what I'm saying is applied in your brain heart structure, and that's the interesting part, how we function, all the memories and capturing and processing, come up with the idea and so forth. And AI go through a similar process, back propagation. There are some technical terms, but essentially they have developed the brain-like structure. And that's how they are configured, so as I understand. So you can have the model of who I am and how I come up with the idea, then reflect that on how AI may process the information and what can come out or not and why, so that AI and I could come up with this concept of CAPD as a node process and creating the neuron network type of an image behind it. So they have that, and I have mine. So we are meshing those together, dialogue, question and answer, to come up with the answer. What's wonderful is that AI doesn't know anything about the time. Sometimes they have to tell me it takes 60 minutes or 3 hours, or depending on the complexity, or also because of their resource constraint. But we are the same, we need to take a rest. So the other idea I mentioned was this, that I post various YouTube videos. So each of them has the idea of what's the purpose or the mission, who are the possible audience, and how it's developed with ideas, so that each YouTube, if you picture, is a transcript, and AI can read that and condense the whole into certain summary, like a title and description. So the other project I'm working on is to see, after producing 5 videos, for example, each different subject, but I asked AI to put those together to see what may come out. You can picture this like, I have some idea, and there are these ideas, and throw that into AI to see how AI may synthesize to bring back what you mean is this kind of a story. So I have started doing it, and you can picture that in our brain. For a certain subject, we have the purpose or the mission, and collect the information and summarize it. We may have other idea and collect the information, summarize. And then when you are in samadhi, calm and quiet mind state, those nodes, node of neurons, if you call that, would start to self-organize by itself. And you can say that within each node is a mini node, kind of a structure. So as I mentioned about mini company and the mini me, that's the same kind of a structure that you can imagine under a certain subject that you can branch out the information. So when we meditate, we are basically not collecting information, but let the information, database, whatever, to be just sitting. And by being in the state of samadhi, no mind, no self, especially no self, because if you have a self-identity or ego that try to get all the possible combination quickly and run. So that's what the brain does. But in the body and the heart, under unconscious or subconscious level, like when you're sleeping, when the mind is quiet, unconscious parts start to self-organize itself to bring out the dream. And dream has the element of idea. So you can do this while you're awake without using your brain in samadhi state. That's when you connect to your heart, is the way I say it, but capturing whatever pertinent information to self-organize, connect the neuron network to bring out ideas. Try this idea, try that idea. And sometimes, bingo, awakening, mini awakening. And then the picture looks much, much easy to understand, to get the grasp of what's key, what needs to be done, so that the mind can rest in the process. And when it's needed, you can use the mind, the brain power, or AI to facilitate this process. So I heard the plane and the bird. It's unrelated to anything, but being calm and quiet. Ego may say it's noisy, but if we can just accept everything as it is, we may be able to stay in samadhi and process whatever the nature's way want to process. And that's how we are developed, alive, living our life. So that let's not overly consume our brain, but connect to our heart, unconscious part. As you do, you may develop the relationship with AI. So if you see this as a playful playground, provided you're not using in the wrong direction, but connecting to your heart, not self-centered, but let's call it universe-centered, the heart-centered way. You do it while your mind is resting, just breathing in the air and breathe out. And there's aliveness organizing itself to make us to be alive, and that also helps to process the idea to pop up, or wisdom to pop up, or compassion to pop up. Thank you for the visit. Let's enjoy life. May all beings be happy.